Oh, we're back. Wonderful, wonderful evening. Wednesday evening, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. It is the Budrush.
Hello.
I am your host, Tommy Fresh. You are all my buds. As always, I hope you're all doing well. And also, as always, I am joined by Mr. Viz, a.k.a. Gary. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, man, I'm doing real well. Having a good week. I'm very excited for Baltimore coming up. Can't wait. The new Outsider stuff is really shaking up the meta. I'm curious how Viscera is going to be, but had a great weekend, release weekend. Opened a bunch of packs, built a computer. It was a fun weekend. How about you? How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. I went to Boston, Massachusetts.
Some Worcestershire.
I went to Worcester. No, I didn't actually go to Worcester. What's up, Jeremy in chat? How you doing, buddy? I went to PAX East with my cousins, which I do every year. It's good. It's a blast. Got to play a lot of nice, cool indie games. A lot of stuff that I'm excited for to come out this year.
You playing Ravenbound tomorrow?
What? What am I?
Ravenbound? Burke and I are really excited for it. Ravenbound, it's an indie roguelite open world.
Well, I mean, maybe.
I didn't know if they were there.
Yeah, I didn't see them there, but played a lot of cool games. One that I really loved was called Goons, Legends and Mayhem. It's a multiplayer hockey game where you're like wizards and stuff.
Oh,
it was very fun, and that should be coming out in July. So look out for that.
How could you not like a game called Goons?
I know.
Right?
Well, I mean, it's the unofficial title of this podcast.
Fresh and Goons.
Fresh and Goons. Well, speaking of this podcast, welcome everyone.
Hello.
We have some stuff to get through here before we get to the fighting. No, I'm kidding. We're not going to fight this time. Maybe we will. We have. I want to shout out to the Patreon for anybody listening. If you want to check out the Patreon, it is in the show notes below. We're doing a new series on there where I will be opening 6 packs, and I'll be joined by a patron, and we will talk about those packs and how we would build it in limited. And Gary and I already filmed our first one, and I should be editing it soon. And when I get a chance, and it is a blast. And we're going to talk about limited, and it's a ton of fun. Beyond that, we got some other cool stuff on the Patreon, bonus episodes, whatever packs we don't open tonight will be opened on the Patreon. And yeah, and then I want to show out the YouTube because we're slowly crawling up there in the subscriber count. We want to get to 500 so I can do the giveaway of my humiliation as adult Leviathan. And
I will die.
Yeah, and Gary will be the rabbit that I kill. Now, I know that most of you watching already subscribed. Hey, listen, if you love Fresh and Buds, Budrush, Bellow, tell your friends, right? Get them in here.
Tell your buds.
Tell your buds. Tell them, and hell, if you like Fresh and Buds and Budrush, Bellow, tell your friends. And I'll go even further. If you tolerate Fresh and Buds and Budrush, Bellow, tell your friends. Get them to subscribe. And then on top of that, right, you might hate me, right? If you hate me, you should want me to succeed because, well, as we've seen with many people that get to high echelons of success, they screw it up somehow. So you'll get to watch my downfall. So kind of bring people in, subscribe, it's going to be a blast. And if you love me, it's going to be a great ride up. And if you hate me, it's going to be a great ride down. So, hey, listen, so it's going to be a good time. So, other than that, check out the Buds Discord, which is in the show notes as well. Great place to hang out. A lot of you are already in there, and it's an awesome place. And hey, listen, the best thing about it is we have a bunch of different people and different opinions, but we're all civil and wonderful people to each other. And that's the thing I love because, you know, I've been on other Discords. Things get a little wild. They get a little crazy, and I don't feel.
It gets hot.
Yeah, I mean, we get wild and crazy in the Discord. I don't want you to
Yeah.
think we're, you know, a bunch of squares, a bunch of librarians over there, but you know,
Bunch of Dewey Decimals.
a bunch of Dewey Decimal System. What is this? You know, the '90s? I don't know, but but we certainly do get wild, but we're tame and wild at the same time. We're like
Petting
we're like,
zoo.
We're like the Tiger King or something.
Yeah, Tiger.
So yeah, check it out there. It's a great time, and you know, you get a little, you know, inside look into, you know, how I think about things sometimes when people are asking questions, and I just give a really wrong answer right away, and it's great. So the Budrush Bellow. Do you want to crack some packs?
So we're here. Yeah, let's do it. Let me get set up here. So tonight we're using the Pits playmat again because it hasn't moved from my desk. So we're gonna. So if you're not familiar, I'm gonna roll this dice as if we're activating Scabskin leathers, and whatever number we roll, we get that many action points, rounded down in half, so just like Scabskin leather. So we're hoping for a 6, but we have this ponder token here we can crack if we want to roll again. Okay. It was a 3.
Ooh, I think we want to crack. And also, Remy, the new spot is coming along just fine. We're getting there. We're cracking.
Right.
We're cracking.
Officially cracked. The ponder token has been cracked, and we're resolving the ponder token's resolution.
Okay. Oh, is that a one?
Oh no.
Oh, damn.
Oh no.
Well, we had 3 outsiders packs here ready to be open, but we got greedy, and now we're not going to roll any. We're not going to, but, you know, hey, listen, this is another great time to plug the Patreon because they're going to be open there. So, hey, listen, sometimes, much like Scabskin leathers, the things don't go in our favor. But, hey, listen, that's why we do it. That's why we do it the way we do it. And also, for whatever reason, your square is... No, I can't fix it tonight.
Oh, because I'm the square and you're not. I see.
Oh, yeah.
Got it.
You are a square, Gary. No.
Yeah.
But, all right.
I consider myself a parallelogram.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, all right. Listen. Hey, I passed 3rd grade, too, all right? You don't need to, you know...
A bit of rhombus action.
Rhombus underrated shape, I would say.
Honestly.
So,
is it a diamond? Is it a rhombus? There's just a lot going on there. I'm not asking too many questions.
To be honest, I don't even know. I just know the word rhombus, and it's a fun word to say. I will say probably out of all the shapes, rhombus has got to be one of the best ones to say.
I mean, we could do a whole fresh 5 about shapes, but my favorite is trapezoid.
Trapezoid's good. Well, is that because you like Riptide, right? Traps, you know what I'm saying?
No, because it's just like, I don't know, you're like, oh shit, it's trapezoid. It almost feels like an alien, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think of my traps, you know, my...
Oh, yeah, I don't have those, so...
Oh, you don't?
You know.
I'll show you a few things you can do.
Yeah.
Us brute players,
you got so many traps going around.
We work out.
So so what was your Scabskin moment of the week, Tom?
Okay, so unfortunately, buds, I did not get a lot of time to play Flesh and Blood this week because I was away, and then last week I was doing house stuff, and then when I came back from Boston, a lot of work to do. But I will say I have a example of why the hell did I write this? A bad 6.
Oh
my god! I wrote it down, and
you blanking?
Oh no, it's actually happened to me today. So in my day job, I have to put out fires sometimes because I have accounts that sometimes things don't go that well, and I have to go make sure it's smoothed over and they don't hate my company or me anymore, right? So I have this account, something went wrong, something that was out of both of our controls. They were really, really cool about it, right? So yesterday I'm talking to them and they're like, all right, yeah, can you come in and basically just like swipe your card, right? Pay for this thing so we could just make it go away. I'm like, yeah, no problem. Put it in my expense account or whatever. Doesn't matter. So I'm like, yeah, I'll come around lunch tomorrow, which is today. And they're like, sounds good. And then I get a text last night, like at 9. They're like, hey, actually come at 6 p.m.
Oh
And I'm
no.
just like, okay. I said yes because I just wanted to get this over with. But like, this is where the Scabskin moment of the week thing comes in. This is an example of a bad 6 p.m.
Yeah. Yes.
So
No one wants to be working at 6 p.m.
nobody wants to be working, and this is like an hour away from my house. So like,
Oh, geez.
yeah. So I basically didn't get home till like a little after 7. You know, slammed some food, and then we got ready for this. So you know, hey, listen, you know, you might not play Brute, but you're going to experience Brute in your everyday life, I think. And you know, I think that playing Brute, right, helps you prepare for those bad variance moments in your life. Do you agree, Gary?
Oh yeah, I'm a firm believer that every interaction you have in the world is like a Dungeons and Dragons roll,
Mm.
you know? And sometimes you roll well, like sometimes you're just like, dang, that was a two fable pack. Never happened to me, but you know, so sometimes you're rolling hot, you know, in life. You're rolling hot in life, and then sometimes you're not rolling hot in life. You know, sometimes projects fall apart. You got to go in at you got 6 p.m. on your mind. You know,
Yeah.
it's not necessarily some sort of destiny, but like you know, somebody's rolling a dice somewhere and saying your life is a game.
Oh,
You
for
know,
sure. I mean, hey, listen. uh I've rolled ones my whole life, right? You know.
yeah, yeah,
But look at me, right? You know, I'm a pretty positive. I mean, not. I mean, like, I'm pretty well adjusted. I shouldn't say positive. I'm relatively negative mostly. If you really know me, I hate everything, and the world is crumbling around me. But I try
yeah.
to not let that affect the people around me. So you know, hey, listen, you know, sometimes we have lessons in flesh and blood, and sometimes we have lessons in the flesh and blood.
Absolutely.
So James Way, if
You
you're
know,
listening, that's a good tagline. But
through inspiration, but yeah, no, like I really feel that way because like I'm you know most of my meal of the week at the end of them they're always about hanging out with people. It's not
mm-hmm.
even about the food, you know. I feel like that a lot of times even if you roll poorly you can still have a good time
Oh
depending on the
yeah.
company, you know.
Hell, man. I mean, I got divorced, right? And
Yeah.
I had a blast. It was the best. It was the greatest couple months of my life. I was so happy. That's a joke, obviously. If she's out there listening, I did not enjoy that. And I don't think she did either. But anyway, that's neither
But if
here
she's
nor
listening,
there. If she's listening, here's a question: why? But anyway, that's the Scabskin moment of the week. But I think we have something even better to talk about, right?
yeah, absolutely.
The Realm Games Chicago Brawl happened this past weekend, release weekend, right? So
People are fighting in Chicago this weekend.
so we had a little 5K tournament where I think it was like 33 people played.
Yeah,
It's basically a battle harden, right?
yeah,
And
pretty big.
I think it was pretty exciting, right? I was
Yeah,
not able to watch it as much because I was in Boston, but I was following the updates on Twitter and in the Discord, and we had a top 8 that was 7 different heroes.
yeah. Oldham and the Femme Fatales, right?
Oh yeah. Briar, Azalea, who else?
Dash,
Dash,
Lexi,
Lexi,
Icelander.
Icelander, and then Oldham.
Yeah,
And then are we missing? Oh, Azuri. Oh my
yeah,
god. And that was very exciting. And we had, I mean, this is the first. We had an Azalea versus Azalea finals. Brody
yeah.
Spurlock versus Levi Roush, who obviously has made a huge name for himself. Playing Azalea, and Brody, you know, the boy wonder, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So Brody ended up pulling it out. So I thought it'd be fun to just take a look at the deck because I don't really know what the heck's going on with Azalea. So let's pop this up.
Yeah,
right
I'm
here.
not a. I like Lexi. I like Riptide, but I'm not really big into. I don't really check out the Azalea list. So okay.
Oh, also I want to answer Remy's question, who asks, anyone ever get busted for using a weighted 6 die for brute? If not, I'll bet people are doing it. I don't know if anybody's been busted. I've had people think I was cheating when I was rolling hot, but someone told me that you can take a whole slew of dice and put it in like a little pan of water, or not like a pan, like almost like a big Tupperware of water, and see where it floats, and you can tell which ones are more likely to land on 6. It's not weighted; they're technically like from the company that made them, so you're just figuring out which one has a slight advantage.
Ah. Are you min maxing your die rolls right now?
No, I've never done that, but I wouldn't be surprised if people are. But yeah, I'm sure there's someone out there doing some kind of loaded dice stuff, but I it's hard to say. I mean, like, what we've had, like, one major win by a brute.
Yeah.
Um,
If they're doing it, it's not working.
yeah. I mean, what we had, like, maybe a brute win like in Welcome to Wraith meta, and then we had one win at San Jose. So, and those decks are certainly good. I don't know if they've relied heavily on the Scabskin roll, but you never know. But yeah, who knows? Oh, geez.
Who knows? But this list, a lot of reds.
This list. So we got the equipment suite is nothing surprising, right? We got the bracers.
We got the quiver though. That's a new addition.
Yeah,
new addition quiver. It's nice to see.
Yeah, it's only the new common or token quiver. So obviously they're caring about putting some aim counters on their stuff, which makes sense, right? A lot of these aim counter arrows are quite good. So
how about the sideboard? Is there any equipment in the sideboard?
This is the whole list.
Okay, got it. Oh, wow. So no trench.
No trench. They were not concerned. I mean, I guess they thought that AB2 is just good enough, right? Got the bracers and the skullbone cross wrap. Rainbow Bolt and Shot makes total sense here, right?
That's a great card, yeah.
Battering Bolt here, I have to imagine sideboard for Dromai.
Yeah.
And
the lace. The laces. Yeah, the melting points and premeditates.
So we got 2 laces. What's this, a shoe? No, I'm kidding. Lace with inertia, lace with blood rot. Great. We got the red infecting shots with some blues. Lightning strike, great. Fatigue shot, great. Drill shot, awesome. The melting point seems to be a great new card to play with, as well as premeditate here. And
melting point seems really great in a lot of like those ninja matchups or those one-handed like Oldhim, where you can just you can get the.
Well, it's base 1, right?
Okay, so Kodachis then, right?
Kodachis and daggers.
Right. Okay.
And then
I thought it was all of them, but yeah, no, getting rid of a Kodachi is good.
Yeah, and premeditate, obviously great. Everything you want to be playing is from Arsenal anyway. Ravenous Rabble, you're playing a ton of reds. Why the hell not? Let's get that 0 for 4 go again. Read the Glide Path.
Just these buffs. It's a lot of buffs.
Buffs, red in the ledger. This card, I mean, specialization for a reason. Remorseless, one of my favorite arrows.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of these cards just have Azalea on them.
Yeah, that's true. We got Seek and Destroy, which is a card that I'm glad to see kind of winning something, because that card was so cool. That was Tails, right? And then the yellows here, we have Codex of Frailty.
Oh, we don't want to skip over Widowmaker though.
Oh, Widowmaker.
Yeah, Widowmaker is a fantastic card in Azalea.
Oh yeah, give it dominates. It's just coming in 1 for 7. Jeez.
Oh my god! And no defense reactions either.
No defense reactions. Like, how do you? Oh, I mean, you can defend it with equipment, right? So you can to make it lower. But Codex of Frailty, and we'll talk about that one in a second, right? This is a good card, apparently. Not that good.
I don't see it. But...
Deadeye, awesome card. Love this card so much. Discard. I mean, Rain Razor's no brainer. I love to see a trap. We got a
At
trap.
least a trap. Yep.
This is definitely sideboard, right? So this is for probably Ninja and
Yeah.
maybe even like Briar, right? You know.
Honestly, yeah. No snatching.
Yeah, stuff like that. It's just a great card, even without the 1 damage, right?
It's a yellow. Can
It's a,
fuel some turns, right? Yeah.
yep, and then we got your Knock the Death Whistles, which just makes this deck hum, and Spire Sniping, which I'm kind of
Only
interested
the blue, yeah.
only to see the
Yeah.
blue, right? So this card I think is a real winner for Azalea, right? This is exactly what Azalea wants. I'm just surprised to only see the blue here, but I guess like it doesn't have an on hit, right? So
Right.
it's kind
Yeah,
of
I would assume we would see the yellow of the blue, just because the break point of 4.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, doesn't have an on hit. But does Azalea let you flip it into the bottom of your deck, regardless if it's face up or face down, or just right? So basically, maybe it's just meant as a way to fix the top card of your deck, and then you put it under.
Yeah. I guess like I could see that, right? The reasoning here is you're never going to be firing this. You ideally want to hit what you want to hit off of this, which is crazy. The deck looks pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, Sleep Dart to annoy Levia players. Just the best arrow from the new set, Infecting Shot. 5 of them.
Is there
Great
Sleep Dart?
to see. Yeah, Sleep Dart. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that Fatigue Shot? Fatigue Shot. Sorry, Fatigue Shot. Yeah.
Actually,
sorry.
The fact that there isn't Sleep Dart makes Levi pretty happy. So
yeah, true. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, this is an interesting deck. It's interesting to see. No Trench, but if you're not expecting Kano or you're trying to take out Icelander just because they can't block as well, then yeah, I mean.
Yeah. So here's the question here, Gary.
Yeah, what's up?
So it's tough to say what the meta is really going to be. It was one tournament. It was all spread out. Maybe people didn't take Azalea seriously enough in their sideboarding choices. Do you think Azalea continues to be a force to be reckoned with here?
I don't know. I mean, like, if you think about what Azalea does, is she is really good at forcing damage. Like, all she likes to do is just put up big numbers and force it through, right? Like, and that honestly wins games, right? Like, got some Enlightened Strike backup, you got Ravenous Rabble backup to be able to go a little bit wide, but yeah, I mean, if you're able to just, what is this? How many buffs is this? We got Lace, we've got Premeditate, we got Seek and Destroy, we got another Lace, we got Read
the Glide Path.
Yeah, so like this is like 20, almost like 20 buffs on your arrows. So, but this is like a pretty good list. I mean, I think Bravo could do some damage to this list, like with a little bit of. I mean, but honestly, with all the ways to block defense reactions, could be this could be a long-term list, honestly, like a long-term problem. I mean, think about how many cards just passively say can't play defense reactions, and then say you also can't block more than one card because of Dominate with Azalea, right? So it's I mean, I'm interested that there's no Death Touch here as like another popper for Dromai. I guess the Ranger. I guess Brody wasn't too concerned about Dromai. I do know that Ranger is a tough matchup for. I mean, Dromai is a tough matchup for some Rangers. So, we didn't see Did we see any Dromai in the top 8?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know, but yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think the reasoning for Death Touch not here has to be like, at least with Battering Bolt, you can load it, right? This, I mean, you can't load Death Touch without just like placing it into your arsenal at the end of the turn, right? So like in the case that you want to use it, right? Because I don't think there's any like free reloads here that I can see. except for Knock the Death Whistle, right? That's like the
Yeah.
only one. And yeah,
Oh,
I'm
Bolton Shot is reload.
oh yeah, Bolt and Shot if on hit, yeah. But yeah, it's probably just a little bit too clunky. But I
Yeah.
think this deck probably just goes the distance against Dromite anyway, right? Like,
Right.
I know a lot of people are like concerned, like the Rangers are kind of concerned about Dromite, but Azalea, I feel like, can just threaten
Punch.
huge things and then like pick
Yeah.
off pesky dragons with like Enlightened Strike and Ravenous Rabble, right?
Yeah, and you can also lock them down with the red in the ledger, so they literally can't attack with all their dragons in a turn.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know that's a good point.
And Remorseless. I mean, Red and Ledger,
Oh yeah.
Remorseless are both like
Oh
cards
yeah.
that just say.
Is it play an action card or activate an action?
Oh, that's actually a good question. Whenever they play an action card. Yeah,
Yeah.
not as good, but it makes
Red in the ledger is really good though.
Red and Ledger, um, is certainly a card that kind of puts them to shame. Yeah, this list is insane. So, Codex of Frailty.
Yeah.
And also, hello, Andrew. Welcome.
Hey Andrew, welcome.
So the big topic of the weekend was Codex of Frailties broken. You get too much blah 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 blah, and
A lot of numbers for 0, right?
a lot of numbers for 0, which is true.
That's very true. Yeah.
I'll let you take the floor here on
Yeah.
your thoughts.
Well, let me start this off by I have played not a lot of games with the card. Not a lot of games against it. I haven't really been playing Talishar this week. So, and I'm going to be drafting tomorrow, and I won't really have an armory to be able to play against this card that much. This card is a power card. It's very disruptive. It's a very powerful card. I don't know if it should be $40, but the ability to both take a card out of your opponent's hand when they have an empty arsenal and also be able to punish them for it. I think last week we talked about this card when it comes to Riptide and being able to take a card and then command and conquering, right?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that's honestly like that's great value, but it's not even like the best value you could get, right? It's like you get these endless arrow turns, you get these crazy like if they have one card left in hand, or they have 2 cards left in hand, they have 1 card left in hand. You play Codex of Frailty. They are forced to put it in the arsenal. Then they just can't block your next attack. That is pretty brutal. Like that's a really frustrating card to have to like deal with. You know what other card is really frustrating to have to deal with?
What?
Revel in Runeblood.
Yes.
And I would say that it's about as equal to pull off a Revel and Runeblood turn as it is an equal to pull off like a Codex of Frailty turn.
Sure.
I don't know. I wouldn't say that Codex of Frailty, like Revel deals 5 damage like right now in Viscerae. Like it deals it right now, and it forces you to deal with it, right? But Codex of Frailty, it's a little bit more interactive. It's very situational, right? Like playing a Revel in Runeblood does nothing. Right? Technically playing a Codex of Frailty does something.
Yeah.
Right? It does a lot of things. If you play this on turn 1, you're not getting any value. If you're pitching this as your yellow, you are getting value, right? But that means you have to get to the point where you are able to play those Codex of Frailties to get that point. You have to do a lot of setup that isn't just in your hand, it's in the graveyard. It's a lot of player manipulation, and that's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there's value in the work, and we get a little bit desensitized as like people who play a lot of card games of like what work is and how obvious a line is. Like we can see this line. Everybody sees this line during spoiler season. When it goes off, it's crazy. I mean, losing to this line is really frustrating. I get it. Like I've lost to just the most insane back-to-back pummel turns from an Oldhim. I've lost to the most insane Lexi hands, the Rain Razors into the Art of Wars, into the 3 of a Kinds, that kind of thing. Like it's like there are cards in this game that are just super impactful when they're mixed together with the right strategy. And this card does all of that for free, which is, again, it's disruptive, it's powerful, it can take away an opponent's turn, but like let's have it. Let's have it for a few weeks. Let's figure out what the problem is. How long was Awakening fine? And then it wasn't. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Like how long was Skeletor fine? And then it wasn't. I think we really need to just take a minute, just take a second, figure it out, and just like hang out for a minute,
I mean, okay, so it's certainly good and something that's great about it, right? I think the floor outside of blocking with it and pitching it is blocking 3 cards, playing this as your only card for turn, returning a 0-cost arrow, attacking, and then still getting an arsenal for the next turn. That's which is great, which is very good. Now, Brian Gottlieb, who worked on this set, was I think unfairly kind of attacked on Twitter. But that's maybe and people have apologized since and all that. I'm not here to talk about that, but he had said, this is a card, and if you look at the bottom here, right, the bottom of this card is for 2 classes, right, that have been underserved. Well, I guess one's brand new. The other one's been underserved for quite some time, and blocks 2, and it's a Majestic, right? So like it has to be. I mean, it doesn't have to be pushed, but some kind of push on this card is probably important, right? I would say that the overall power level of the set is not that high, but something like the codex, even all the codexes, kind of bring it up a bit. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Obviously, if we see just Azaleas taking all these tournaments, then we gotta look at the card, right? Because it's certainly powerful. There's a lot that can be done, but this has been one tournament, and people are gonna have to decide how they sideboard or which hero they decide to bring to an event, right? If they think Codex of Frailty is a real issue. So it's tough to say. It's certainly not ban worthy off of one tournament. If it continues to wreak havoc, whatever. Wreak havoc, sorry. The card. But that's where I'm at on it, right? I mean, I told you before we started the show, but I also said this because we had a question about this on tomorrow's episode of Fresh and Buds, and basically, let me play with this card a little bit first before we start banning it, because I want to enjoy it. So, don't ban this yet.
Please.
Here's a question, Gary. Is there a world where they could suspend it till Azalea LLs, right? Like, do you think that maybe it's just too good in Azalea? Or is it just too good in general?
I think they know when cards are busted, like, and need to be emergency banned, like Duskblade. Like maybe some of the balancing that they're saying this card's very good, but it's for a specific class that isn't very good right now. That's pretty good. The Duskblade argument is pretty moot when you think about that, right? Yeah. Duskblade was for a class that was already excelling. So I don't necessarily see, like, I could see it getting suspended in the same way that, like, how in Blitz, like, Sonata and Skeletor were like bouncing back and forth on suspension. It's like, it's suspended this month, let's see how Azalea does. Okay, we see that Azalea is not performing well at all anymore, let's bring it back. I think it's more like, let's put it on hold if it ever gets to a point, because that's the idea, right? The suspension is give it a month and see what this ban does.
Yeah.
And I will remind you that Bloodsheath Skeletor is suspended, not banned.
Oh, we know. So here's the interesting thing. I mean, All right, so let's look at this deck, right? Because
Mhm.
what has changed with Azalea
Right.
with this set? So,
Quiver.
infecting
First thing is
shot, quiver,
hmm
but the quiver is just there to make some of these arrows playable. I don't think there
the
was any
infected shot,
shortage
right?
of playable arrows for Azalea, right? We get the infecting shot, which is really good, right? The laces and melting point and premeditate. So we got some really good buffs from the set.
Yeah.
Widowmaker, really good, and
Very common, honestly. Yeah.
Codex, and then Spire sniping. It now like if
Don't forget
it's,
tar pit trap. Don't forget tar
I'm
pit.
not forgetting
You
Tar
know.
Pit, but let's be real. This is Cyborg.
Yeah. Yeah.
It without the Codex, is it still very powerful? I still think so, right?
Yeah.
These cards, these pumps are quite good. But the Codex, I think, is at its best when you can commit to blocking a whole hand and still presenting a decent on hit. So,
Yeah. My thought here is, so think about that when you think about this list, right? What costs 0? This list is not even playing Endless Arrow.
that's true. Wow.
So
Drill
what's
shot.
what co- Drill Shot, Enlightened Strike, but you can't even play that.
Yeah, depending
You've
on
got Rapid
your hand.
Travel. I really think the point of this deck is to take a card out of their hand.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the Codex of Frailty is more like, let's make it harder for you to block. You
Yeah.
know, because if you think about like throwing a Lace with Frailty, a Lace with Inertia, throw a Bolt and Shot, block 2 cards, and then you play a Codex, or you pitch to or however you want to do it. I don't know the line, but basically, if you get them down to 1 card in hand, you can play the Codex, get back that Bolt and Shot, attack with the Bolt and Shot, that kind of thing. Get this crazy momentum
Mm-hmm.
while taking cards out of their hand. That's where the like 0 for 12 value number comes from,
Yeah.
right? It's that they lose the block, they get a card back, you get a card, and you draw a card, and if they attack, their attacks get weaker. There's
Mm-hmm.
it's like a 5-pronged attack right there.
Yeah.
Um, I in this deck anyway, I feel like that's the point of it. Um, Honestly, like a lot of those 1 attacks could just be fuel for like one of those turns. Like you have to pitch to activate Death Dealer to load the Bolt and Shot, that kind of thing. Anyway, so you might as well, play the Tome of Frailty, have the resources floating, and just make it work.
Yeah.
Um, in Riptide, I think it's definitely, there's a lot more zeros. There's a lot more ways to make those 2-block, 3-block hands work. But in this Azalea list, it almost feels like a Punisher card.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny, right? Like Codex of Frailty doesn't really work that well with Endless Arrow because you get the card for your
Right.
arsenal anyway. So yeah, gosh. I mean, this deck's really sweet.
Yeah.
Codex, I think, will be fine. I mean,
Yeah, and
it'll be
you have to
good.
think also, this is like a high skill cap deck, right? It's not like this deck is gonna, like, you can just windmill slam this deck and win every tournament, right? It's a powerful deck, but like things need to line up. You need to understand how the Ranger function works.
Mm-hmm.
You can hit those all red hands.
Oh yeah.
Like Viscerai hates those all red hands sometimes, and like this is a lot of reds,
Yeah. Yeah.
Death Dealer draws a card, so that's nice, but like
it's tough. I think this is the overreaction of a card game community,
yeah,
and
it happens.
it
It
happens
happens. I
every
mean,
single time. And I think a lot of these classes maybe should have one of these cards, right? I mean, hell, give.
I
Well,
know,
I
I
mean,
know it's copious for Doomsday, isn't it, Tom?
no, no. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, Budrush Bellow, namesake of this show, can do just as much value.
Oh my god, Berserk.
The ceiling's a lot, or the floor's a lot lower. on Berserk.
Like the floor you put in this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, listen, that's our Codex of Frailty discussion. Um, hey, also I want to shout out. Yeah, all right, let me do this real quick. But like, I know that we didn't open these packs, but I do want to shout out. I went to a store today in Andover, New Jersey called I Choose You. I had heard about it, but it's kind of far from my house. But I was working up that way.
It's near that 6 p.m. right?
Yeah. I was up. Yeah, I was up that way for the 6 p.m. And I stopped in. I was like, I gotta get some packs. Ended up getting the Riptide Blitz deck, and then I never bought one of these, so I grabbed one of those.
Nice.
And I met someone working there. I don't know if he owns it or not, but his name was Tim. He was really cool. Recognized Fresh and Buds from the
really?
articles that we put up.
Wow.
But he loves Fab, and they've been trying to really grow the community there. So I want to shout them out, and they're really nice in there. And they got a skirmish coming up this season. I think it was the 15th. So yeah, I just wanted to shout it out because we didn't open the packs, and I was like, better mention them. But hey, listen, let's do our top 5. So, if anybody saw on the, so we're Gary and I are becoming somewhat of Riptide stands, right? We'll get back to our normally scheduled Brute and Runeblade stuff. Don't worry. We're not.
Yeah, don't worry.
We're not.
Purple guy's going nowhere.
And I'll admit, I did think about, like, the thought crossed my mind. Like, should I change the name of this podcast from the Budrush Bellow to the Budsaw Trap? But we're sticking with the Budrush Bellow. Is way better. But the lore came out for Riptide, and there was a really cool story. I recommend anyone go to LSS's page, just on Riptide's page. Where you can read it, and you can it's awesome, right? Really neat story. Get a look into how Riptide is. It's just like us, for real. And
honestly, that first paragraph, I was like, this is Tom's inner monologue as he lives his life
all the time. So check it out, but get confirmation that he was a pirate. He was on a pirate ship. I forget the name of the pirate ship right now because I can't bring it up, but he was a swashbuckling ranger on a pirate ship. So, and we knew that pirates existed because, hell, we saw the trench coat and the freaking freewheeling renegades and all that stuff. So, thought it'd be cool together to kind of list off 5 classes that would be awesome to see on a pirate ship, because pirates are cool, right? Sea of Thieves, that's a game that we both enjoy. So the first one I'm going to say is Brute, right? I could even see Reinar on a ship, but it would be cool to see a new Brute on like a pirate ship, because I'm sure eventually we're going to, because this pirate ship existed in the Sea of Wraith, right? We're probably going to get a whole pirate set at some point, right? I don't think anytime soon, but LSS doesn't mention this stuff for nothing, right?
Right.
So a Brute on a pirate ship sounds awesome, right? Kind of like every pirate show or TV or film always got like some kind of big old
gnarly dude, big old guy with the
it's got like scars and stuff like that. And like it's just like probably like a bald head and just like tattoos all over the place. I mean, that is the kind of thing that we'd like to see. What do you think about a Brute on the ship?
Oh yeah, Brute makes sense, man. You gotta have the muscle, you gotta have the shipwrights that are able to fix shit, put it all together. Brute's a big could have definitely been there. Now I'm gonna go out for mine next one. I'm gonna go on a limb here. I'm gonna say chef. They needed a chef, right? They need somebody to make the food, and we don't have a class for chef. But could you imagine a chef class? I would love that. That would be awesome. You just cooking different dishes, or you're hitting them with a frying pan.
Yeah, I mean that'd be awesome. I mean, I mean, that would be a cool way to kind of even introduce an alchemist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's kind of the same thing, cooking. Also, Capolo's here. Welcome,
Oh,
Capolo, in
hello.
the chat, and who says his card, which he kindly gave to me, says still missing in my background. Also, if you notice, something else is missing in my background.
Tried it.
The cold foil heart and cross strap. So things are still packed away, Cap. Just relax.
Where's your trident too? That's gone.
That's in the yard.
Oh,
'Cause
it
I
is.
was throwing it the other day. Um,
Okay.
so, but chef slash alchemist slash whatever sounds awesome. Yeah, you're right. Gotta eat. Gotta eat. We
Gotta
eat.
eat. Bud's gotta eat.
Bud's gotta eat. That'd be a good shirt. Jeff,
Get on it, Jeff.
it.
Flip it.
Clip it. Something else that kind of really makes sense to me on a ship is a illusionist. Now this is gonna sound weird, right? But like I feel like you always have someone who's spinning yarns on the ship.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And like this illusionist tells such good stories that they create illusions. I like the idea of that rather than just like using magic or like ash and like dragon
Almost like
stuff.
a bard, kind of.
Like almost like a bard, but like this illusionist person is so good at like uses magical stories to create enemies to like attack or allies to attack their opponents. Is something
I like it. Yeah, my next one I'm thinking is warrior, right?
Sure.
You got to have the warriors with the scimitars. I'm been watching some One Piece lately, and you think about warriors, you think about like Zoro from One Piece.
Sure.
There's always like, a lot of swords going around, and I feel like warriors huge for swords because Brute's all about punching. They might have a club, they might have an axe.
Yeah.
A warrior, they like when it comes to a pirate, you're thinking like the Centauri sabers.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, Centauri sabers, a saber in general, man.
Oh yeah,
I love a saber. Oh my god.
Honestly, yeah, like whew, somebody alter Centauri sabers into pirate swords. Like, come on.
Yeah, that would be really sweet. And then I don't think I'd love a wizard or like a rune blade really on a
mechanologist, maybe.
Mechanologist, yeah, you need someone that knows like the ins and outs of the workings of the ship, but mechanologist feels like a little bit too high tech.
Yeah.
But the guns, the cannons and stuff like that, you can see a mech kind of thing going on there. The Guardian probably makes it. I mean, Bravo looks like a freaking pirate already, right?
Yeah. Guardian. You know what? I'm gonna say Guardian over mech. Like,
yeah,
it depends what level of pirate you're going for. You going for the 19th century pirate,
sure,
17th century pirate, or are you going for like steampunk pirate? And I think Guardian fits in a lot better, right? You got the bulky guy, those guys that are putting up the sails, that kind of thing.
Well, I think like Guardians are like regal too, right? They can be the captain. I think like you're getting a captain Guardian, right? Gosh, am I missing any classes here? Runeblade, no Runeblades, no wizards. Illusionist was like a kind of like a little off the walls.
Ranger, assassin. Yeah.
I mean, we already have Ranger with Riptide, so we know the Rangers are hanging out there, but assassin makes a lot of sense too, right? Like I don't know if you watched Our Flag Means Death.
Oh yes.
And Jim, the character Jim was basically an assassin, right? Like two daggers, like really good with them. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, I know. I think I'm thinking warrior. If I was on a pirate ship, I kind of want to be the chef class, because I'm trying to cook more. Made some more salmon tonight.
Nice.
But yeah, warrior or the chef class. If you were on who would you be? Would you be just a ranger? You'd be Riptide?
I'd be Brute. Come on.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, like I'm not the brains of any kind of operation here, right? I'm just a body. But you're glad to have me. But really, only when you need me. But yeah, but that was our silly top five, fresh five this week because the story was really cool. I definitely recommend reading it when you get a chance. Now we have a deck today.
Yeah.
Let me bring it up here. Also, let me bring you up there.
Hi. Here I am.
We have another Riptide deck. This comes from Armor, aka Brendan.
Can you believe
it? Aka Sin Creed from the Steelblade Showtime podcast. Let's go through this deck here. So first thing I'm seeing is New Horizon. So this is a deck built for Gary. You got the Trench. I think Trench is a no-brainer. Perch, Hornet Sting. I think people are pretty solid on the Hornet Sting, though. I could see a reason to play Toxic Tips at some point. The Bracers, I think sideboard. We haven't jumped to the sideboard yet. So we see the New Horizon. This is a deck that's trying to make use of that. So let's keep that in mind.
Do we see Heat Seeker? That's the question.
Do we see Heat Seeker? I'm not seeing Heat Seeker, buddy. So we see Barbed Undertow, which is a card I do love, and it's something that I would love to play more of. I'm not playing it in my Riptide deck, but it was in there for a minute. But I cut it for Remorseless, to be honest, because my deck just doesn't have a lot of room for it. So Barbed Undertow is a great card, and I'm happy to see it here. We have Bloodrot Trap. Main board, though, I would put that in the sideboard. I throw that thing into the sideboard, though. This card is excellent. And at worst, main board, it still blocks for 3, right?
Oh, yeah. I feel like some of the better traps that block for 3, you want main board that are yellow, though.
Mm-hmm.
Just because the flexibility, right?
For sure.
The art on Bloodrot Trap, though, is just so brutal. Like,
it really is. I mean, you could see the Bloodrot starting.
Yeah.
On the we do have Death Touch, which I do like to see, right?
Riptide makes more sense, I think.
Definitely, and it's got the blue in there too. So I do like to see blues, though. This deck could probably get away with the yellows instead, to be honest.
That's true. Yeah.
We do have Frailty Trap here. This one's definitely easier to trigger than Bloodrot Trap, and Frailty tokens, as we've seen, can be quite good. Hemorrhage Bore, this is a good card.
Yeah, very good card. It's a Command and Conquer, right?
Command and Conquer, yeah. Usually, in this deck, it's a
leave no witnesses. Sorry, it's leave no witnesses.
Leave no witnesses.
Because you can defense react, but leave no witnesses destroys the arsenal.
Oh yeah. Infecting Shot, yes. I would bump up the Infecting Shot. Now we haven't gotten to the sideboard, so I don't know, but I would bump up the Infecting Shots to 3. On the red. I think the card's a lot better than you think. But it looks like Brendan here is doing a lot of 2-ofs to fit a lot more cards.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And that's usually how I start a deck, right? You want to start a deck with everything you might want, and then kind of figure out what you don't really want, and then slowly cut what you don't want, and then add the cards that you do want.
You could be like me and just play a bunch of 2-ofs.
Yeah, 2-ofs are. I mean, it's not the Hey, listen. I remember in the days of Magic, when I would play, every once in a while a deck list would show up with a bunch of 1-ups, and you're like, "What are you doing?" And then it would win. You're like, "Oh, okay."
Gotta play. Yeah. No, mainboard Oasis too.
Yeah, I'm playing mainboard Oasis. I think this is a great deck for it, right?
Yeah.
Something
Trench for sure.
Yeah, with Trench. Oh my god, because you get to remove the card with Trench, Oasis, load something else, boom, and usually even gain a life, which is great. Remorseless, arguably one of the best arrows in the game.
Red Toxicity, interesting. I would see that as like more of a yellow or blue card.
Scar for Scar, I love this card in this deck. Right, it makes a ton of sense. Seek and Destroy is also really good. Loads, great effect. Gives the inertia effect. Right. Well, to a certain extent, you do discard them instead of putting them on the bottom. Sleep Dart, sideboard card for sure, but quite good. Yeah, I'm with you on the toxicity here. Um,
Yellows?
Yellows, I mean, or blues, depending on how this curve works out. It's hard to tell just from going through it, but it might be just yellow. Um, one
Yeah, I
trip,
feel like the 4 damage is brutal, and also you want that flexibility of loading the arrow. So,
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
the red. I mean, red is a brutal card, but I mean, I'm in favor of the yellow for sure.
One tripwire trap's interesting. Certainly, it's a good trap, right? It always triggers, and
0 for 4 too.
0 for
Most of
4,
the other cards are 0 for 3.
but it
So
does have to be played from Arsenal. Now
right.
we have another 2 of on the withering shots. I mean, I would even look at making one of these withering shots, infecting shots, like immediately. Um, 2 boulder traps. Boulder trap, I think, is one of the best
Oh
traps.
yeah,
I
put it
would
on the shield. The
uh,
the shield that
ice
I
shield.
forget what it's called. The ram's head.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, like any of this. I mean, all the shit. It's good on the temper shield too because it can blow
Yeah.
it up. Boulder trap, I would look at 3. Not main board. I would always board that in, right? Because like, I mean, boulder trap comes in probably the most often because I think folks are playing cards that buff their attacks all the time.
Titan's fist.
Titan's fist. Yeah, I mean, even some like weapons just do it on their own. Codex of Blood Rot.
Raiden Bolt. Warrior.
Oh yeah, I mean Warrior. My God. Codex of Frail. I mean, we should look at 3 Codex of Frailty for sure. Um, Codex of Blood Rot, great. I mean,
Yeah.
I also like
Loads.
Inertia to be honest, but
Inertia is really great into Oldham and Icelander.
Inertia is really awesome because unlike Frailty, now Frailty is certainly the best one, but Inertia, they don't know what they're putting into their arsenal, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes Frailty, they can just put like a real decent threat.
Big
And
heater in there, you know?
yeah, yeah. 3 Deadeye, I do like this card, but it is a little bit tough sometimes because it is a 1 cost card that loads. Certainly not bad because the effect's great, but
Pendulum Trap. I love that card.
Pendulum Trap's awesome. I do like 2 of, maybe 3 of on
Yeah.
Pendulum, or no, 2 of on the Pendulum Trap because it's a little bit more narrow. I would run 3 Pitfall Traps. I think it's a lightning bolt in this deck. I mean,
A what?
it's a what's
3 damage. 3 damage.
it's a 3. What's the wizard card?
I was gonna say. I don't even know.
God.
Aether Dart. Aether Dart.
This is Aether Dart.
It's a reckless swing.
It finishes games. You know.
Yeah.
I would run 3. I think it's arguably the best trap. Right. Like
Okay.
like to play main board. Tar Pit Trap, I would move up to 3. I think all 3 of the legendary traps, obviously there's no real cost to playing them, right? They're blues and they block 3 no matter what, and sometimes they win you the game.
I see Brandon is playing his Heart of Fyendel.
Heart of Fyendel, I think it makes sense in this deck, though honestly, I'm gonna say put the new Fabled in there.
Plague Hive?
Plague Hive, yeah. I think that card's insane. I think if you're running any deck that can play Plague Hive, it's that good, right? Even at random, right? You give them the random token, but like usually 2 out of the 3 times, it's a relevant thing.
Yeah. Inertia and Blood Rot, right?
Inertia, Blood Rot, but Frailty's good too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rockside Trap, I like to see 3 of them. It's good blue.
Very good blue, yeah.
Look at sideboard. Dreadbore makes a lot of sense. I hate to see it because I'm playing a lot of Riptide right now, but I am happy to not see Dreadbore in Azalea sideboards right now.
Yes. Yeah.
But that will change if Riptide does start doing well.
Well, Widowmaker is basically Dreadbore, so.
What was that?
Widowmaker is Dreadbore.
Oh,
because Widowmaker has Dread on it, so.
But Dreadbore makes all of them Widowmaker.
Yeah, true.
Toxic Tips in the sideboard, interesting. If you run, I feel like either I don't see a lot of times when you would switch Toxic Tips out for Horn Sting or vice versa. So this could probably be a whole nother card, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They're both
Maybe
good.
maybe like the pitfall trap.
Yeah, certainly something there. Bullseye Bracer, yeah, you got to have this in here. I think Skullbone Cross Wrap too, because then you board these in when you need AB3. And
I'd love to see Feign Death too.
Feign Death, yeah. I mean,
That card's amazing.
It's really good. I'm not playing it right now because I'm just like kind of hoping I just don't run into wizards. But if it becomes
Or Azalea.
oh,
with the Bolton shots that they're playing.
Yeah, it's pretty good too. It's pretty good too. But like it's just tough to pay one
Yeah.
into Azalea, I think. But it's something that's worth considering. I mean, this card is insane. Melting Point's very good as well. And then Poison the Tips is good. It's just a little tough to. I feel like in Riptides, it's tough to really make work, right? Not
especially because it costs one, and you're already load. It's reload. So
no, it's cost zero. Cost zero.
Cost zero. Right. Okay, but it does reload, which you're already doing.
You're already doing, and you don't have the dominate effect of Azalea, and you also don't really go wide. Like this deck, I don't even see any of the go again arrows here, so it's kind of my take on this deck. I mean, certainly, it's got a lot of good ideas going on. A lot of arrows that I like, and
and a lot of good traps. I like to see the Codex of Bloodrot. That card's fun.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm playing all three codexes.
Tommy's reading. He's reading.
I'm reading books, Jerry. So hey, listen, it's been a fun episode, Gary.
It's been fun, yeah.
Once again, sorry to the folks watching, we didn't open any packs, but we're gonna open them right after this, and
absolutely,
they're gonna go right up on the old Patreon. So you can check that out in the show notes. You can continue to find me at Fresh Buds Pod. We'll get to the meal of the week in a second, but check out Twitter, YouTube, Buds Discord, Patreon, all that fun stuff, and be good to each other. And if you have cool Riptide ideas, send them my way. What about you, Gary?
Hey everyone, I'm Mr. Viz. You can find me on Twitter at Mr. Viz, Vister spelled out VIZ. I just spend a lot of time in the Buds Discord. I've been doing a lot of rune translation stuff with the arcane language. Very excited for Pro Tour coming up. If anybody's going to be there, feel free to come say hi, give me a hug. You know it's going to be hard to miss me because I'm going to be having a giant purple pillow. But we'll talk about this every week until Baltimore. But yeah, just everybody be good to each other. You know, we're playing a card game with a lot of people, and everybody just needs to just love each other. You know, love each other.
Amen.
Amen.
Also,
what was your meal of the week, Tom? I
also want to just Fresh and Buds main show for anybody who doesn't listen to that. But tomorrow we have Riley Groff coming on from Central Pennsylvania. And we're talking about Limited. And next week we have Smithel Gaming, who has a wonderful commoner league online in a Discord. And we're going to talk about commoner next week. So I'll be posting it soon. But if anybody has questions about commoner, post them in the listener questions section of the channel in the Buds Discord. But yeah, my meal of the week was tonight. Lady Fresh made a pasta that I had seen on TikTok and sent to her, and it was really good. It was like a spicy carrot pasta. So it was like regular pasta, but the sauce was like steamed carrots with Calabrian chilies and like parsley and like Parmesan cheese, and it was honestly like really good. And I'm trying not to say it too loud because she might be able to hear me and she's gonna get a big head. But,
she's watching, right? She's watching.
She might be. So. She might be. So, what about you?
So my meal of the week, I want to shout out. Yesterday, we went to every other Tuesday we hang out with some of our card friends, and we went to Philly Brewing Company. They had a food truck there. It was just like a taco truck, but I got some kick-ass, some nachos, some tinga nachos with some chips and guac. But we were playing trivia. It was 6 of us.
Ooh.
It was a couple. It was a group of card nerds playing trivia, and we won. We won trivia. So it was a great time. We had some great food. We won trivia. Had a few drinks, and we're gonna go back because we kicked ass at trivia thanks to our friend Francis's wife Carrie, who is a book legend. She nailed the author round of trivia. So, but yeah, it was a great time. Just like hanging out with buds, having some food, and you gotta love a Mexican food truck. Always knocking it out of the park.
Yeah. Oh my god, that sounds amazing. My lord, that sounds so good. So everybody, go eat some Mexican food and maybe
Absolutely.
some carrot pasta, whatever you want. But see you. Next week.
Next week. Bellow.
Bellow.
Bellow.